Hello students, welcome to fifth lecture of chapter 1 Fundamentals of Design. Today we will discuss about creep, classical creep curve, fatigue, completely reverse stress, alternating stress, fluctuating stress and repeated stresses, endurance limit and SN curve. So one by one we will see all in detail. So let us see what is a creep. When any material is subjected to a constant loading for a long period of time under a very high temperature, then there is a slow and permanent deformation which is known as creep. So we can say that this property is considered in which all parts? The parts which are subjected to very high and elevated temperatures like the parts of IC engine, turbines, boilers. We can see that this creep is a time dependent deformation. It depends on time. It also depends on the temperature. Generally, this creep occurs at a very high temperature, but sometimes it also happens at the room temperature in certain materials like lead or glass. Although its rate is very slow, but it occurs. Now let us see that creep, as it is time dependent, over a period of time, this permanent deformation will increase a lot and there will be a failure of the component in a service period. Let us see a creep curve. What is creep curve? In this creep curve, here we'll be plotting a strain value on a y-axis and the time on the x-axis. So the rate of deformation is known as creep rate. You can see here, rate of deformation with respect to time is known as a creep rate, and we have plotted here creep rate, and the curve is known as creep curve. Creep curve is divided into three stages: first stage, second stage and third stage. Initially it starts from O to A. O to A is an instantaneous elongation or deformation of a component. Means component is just put into use. Not much time is spent as compared to its whole life cycle. But still there is a deformation of the component in the very beginning of its early life, and that is known as instantaneous elongation, which is represented by O to A. We can see that A to B represents first stage of creep, which is also known as primary creep. Primary creep, initially creep increases, but later on we can see that creep rate decelerates. Here you can see creep rate decelerates and metal strain hardens to support the external load. This primary creep takes place in the initial life cycle of a component. Second we have, that is second stage, which is also known as a secondary creep. And you can see that in secondary creep, creep rate is almost constant or uniform. So component, what happens? Component will be there for a major portion of its life cycle in this secondary creep. And tertiary creep is also known as a third stage. In third stage, creep rate accelerates, means deformation will increase a lot with respect to time. And what will happen? Necking formation will take place in the component, and finally component will rupture or break at point D. So this is the last stage, and after that component will fail. So this is about the creep curve. Next, we will see fatigue and endurance limit. So what is fatigue? When a material is subjected to repeated stresses and that material will fail below its yield point stress, such type of failure is known as fatigue. Now there is one significance of the fatigue, that whenever there is a fatigue, it starts from the fine, or you can say minute crack formation. Crack will be of very small size, and then later on that crack will propagate and finally component fails. So we will see in which component fatigue failure we are going to study. In design of shafts, connecting rods, springs, gears, axles, crankshaft, pinion teeth, they all are subjected to variable and alternating load. And there we will see fatigue failure. So now, what are the chances of crack and from where it is likely to occur? So you can see here there are the components which are having oil holes like a pedestal bearing cap. Then there is a keyways in the shaft. There are chances that it may be subjected to crack formation. There are components which are having sudden change in cross-sectional areas, like we have steps or shoulder components. Then there are components in which there are irregularities during machining operations. There are machining marks, maybe stamp marks or inspection marks, which you have studied in the direction of lay in mechanical working drawing. In casting, there is a defect which is known as blowhole. So when there is a blowhole, there are chances of crack development in that component also. So all these components which are likely to have a crack are more subjected to stress concentration because of the presence of crack. And that crack, which is very minute, will open and close over each cycle when cycle continues, and there is a propagation of the crack, and this phenomena is known as crack propagation. Let us consider a beam of circular section which is subjected to a load. When that beam is here, you can see upper fibers are subjected. If beam will bend because of the load, upper fibers are subjected to compression and lower fibers are subjected to tension. After a half revolution, the fibers which were in the lower, they have come up, so tension will come into compression and compression will go to tension. So these will be repeated, and that repetition will depend on the speed of the variations and number of cycles. So here we will see this type of stresses are known as reversed stresses. So let us see what is completely reversed stress. The stress which vary from one value of compressive to the same value of the tension, or we can say vice versa, then it is known as completely reversed stress. The stress which vary from a minimum value to a maximum value of a same nature, same means either tensile or compressive, but value is minimum compressive to maximum compressive, or it is minimum tensile to maximum tensile, then it is known as fluctuating stress. Next we have, that is repeated stresses. When the stress which vary from 0 to a certain maximum value, then it is known as repeated stresses. And the last which we are having, that are alternating stresses, the stress which vary from minimum value to a maximum value of the opposite nature. That means certain minimum value of a compressive to a maximum tension, or minimum tension to a maximum compression, is known as alternating stress. Next, we will see today endurance limit and stress versus number of cycles curve, which is also known as SN curve. We have seen a component which was subjected to a completely reversed stress. So that component will be testing it, and that record of number of cycles required to produce a failure at a given stress, those values of various stresses will be plotted, and that graph will become stress cycle curve, or it is also known as time stress diagram. If the stress is kept below a certain value, as we will see in the next diagram, which is shown by a dotted line, that is representing a limit up to which material will never fail, whatever may be number of cycles. And the dotted line which is representing the stress value, the limit value, that limit is known as endurance limit. So here I was talking about this dotted line is representing endurance limit. So what is the definition? Technically, it is known as the maximum value of the completely reversed bending stress which a polished standard specimen can withstand without failure for infinite number of cycles. Infinite means usually the component will run for 10⁷ number of cycles. The term endurance limit is used for reversed bending only, while for other type of a loading, instead of endurance limit, we use the term that is endurance strength. It may be defined as the safe maximum value of a stress which can be applied on a machine part working under actual conditions. Thank you very much. Students, I hope you have enjoyed learning this topic. Next lecture, we will see remaining further parts.